Sunday after division rival Los Angeles Lakers in town. The last meeting against the Lakers, the fifth meeting. Suns win. Much needed win. After dropping 2 consecutive games in Texas to both Dallas and Houston, the Suns come home and play the Lakers and get a win that was, I think we could all agree, much, much needed by this team. You come out after the All-Star break and you lose the first 3 games, all against teams that are beatable, are teams that the Suns could and potentially should be beating. It puts a damper on your spirits as a fan, and we know that because we've experienced that for the past couple of days as we've navigated our feelings following a poor loss to the Houston Rockets. But they win. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Matthew, it's always a good day to beat LA.
Beautiful. And after the last game, we didn't know where we were going to go from there. But right now, damn, dude, the Suns are good, and you kind of forget about Bradley Beal. So it's always a good feeling.
Yeah, forgetting about Bradley Beal, unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of Bradley Beal is the sheer fact that he's, again, injured, missed this game, hamstring injury, and is going to, we don't play again until Thursday, so we shall see. But the positive side, obviously, of all this is a victory against the Lakers. And it's a team that entered as the 10th seed in the Western Conference. The Suns entered as the 8th seed in the Western Conference. You didn't want to give up any more ground. And that's what lies before the Suns in their final 24 games. It's a battlefield. Love is a battlefield out there, because it's just every game there's a grenade out there that you have to watch out, or some sort of landmine that if you step on it could blow up your season. So knowing that they're going out there today, playing against a Lakers team that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and winning in the fashion that they did, and it wasn't because of Devin Booker or Kevin Durant. It's because the other guys stepped up tonight, Matthew.
Yeah, it was a total team effort. It started in the first 6 minutes of the game and carried on through the rest of the game. There were moments in this game where it was a little staggered, a little ISO, but for the majority, it was pretty evenly spread throughout basically the starting 5 and like the 2 guys off the bench. So the best, I think, team game the Suns have played in a long time. I think they definitely needed it today. And like you said, none other than the Lakers coming here to Phoenix and just destroying them, and the fans going home. It's nice to see.
Yeah, so everybody, Matthew's at the game. He's live at the footy, so we're gonna get his reaction. So we're hoping he doesn't. We're hoping he doesn't.
I might be handcuffed this time. Like, all right, sir, we told you once.
No matter what, keep streaming.
I'll keep streaming.
Okay, that's the goal. Is you have to keep it streaming. Take it with you if they. It can make for some very, very interesting post-game video. So, yeah, Matthew's live at the footy, going to give us all the reactions that happened there as we saw a team effort win over the Los Angeles Lakers. So welcome, everybody who's watching or listening later to the Suns Jam Session podcast, the original post-game podcast of Planet Orange, shooting the shit about the Phoenix Suns since 2019. Make sure you follow the show at Suns Jam wherever you consume your content. You can follow me at Darth Voida on Twitter and read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. He's Matthew Lissy. You can follow him at Matthew Lissy. I know that he's not going to be, I'd say pop a beer or something, but I'm sure that would get you kicked out by security as well. So what do you got there? Like you got a coffee. You got a coffee.
I'm on mute. So okay. I got my second coffee of the day. And I love the day games because you're just hanging out and you walk upstairs and you're like, oh my God, it's still daytime. Because usually at night, I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I can't have coffee, but I can have coffee at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, well, you're going to be walking. You're going to be walking out of the arena after the post game podcast. Hopefully not in handcuffs, and it'll still be daylight out. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. Let's talk about a victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. Point victory for the Phoenix Suns as they beat the Los Angeles Lakers 123-113. This improves their record to 34-24 on the season and their home record to 19-11, whereas the Lakers now drop to 31-28 and are 11-19 on the road. Which brings me to my first question.
Oi, Matty. Mate, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask, this game, one of those games, the Suns go out and score a season high 45 points in the first quarter. Most points that they have scored in any quarter this season. What was your feeling after that 45-point quarter? Was this, oh no, we know that we're going to blow this? Or I think that based on what we've seen, the Suns have a different energy tonight. What'd you feel in the arena?
My first feeling was, wow, that was a long first quarter. It seemed like it was the first half of the Suns. There was a lot of timeouts called, which was actually pretty good because going on runs like they did in the first quarter, the Lakers had no chance and no choice really to continue their efforts offensively until they had to call a timeout to at least kind of stop the bleeding. And literally bleeding all the time, LeBron and Anthony Davis stopped play throughout the whole game because they were bleeding. But the feeling was good. I just feel like it starts with, for me, this is just the way I am, like the court, the jerseys, the intro, everything, like a Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. It's a good feeling in the arena. I think it just kind of carries over to the players that, like you said, like the losing 2 games right after the All-Star break, they want to get back into things, make sure that they can stay within the 8th seed of the West at least today. So coming off of that, you just knew like the one thing that would really kind of help this team is team ball and getting other guys involved. Like they have Royce O'Neal starting today, and then Bol Bol coming in early in the game. Like guys like that just kind of like carried that momentum. So my original feeling after the first quarter was that was great for team ball. I felt good. I didn't feel the feeling of, oh, we're gonna blow this. I felt like this was what the Suns needed in order to get going and start maybe a win streak here after this victory.
Yeah, I think that when the team comes out and they score 45 points, I get a little worried. It's almost like a Eugene Lissyism, right? Like they scored too fast, too early. You can't go up big earlier. You never know what's going to happen because of what we've seen from Phoenix. Is how did they develop that 45-point lead? I guess that's kind of step one, or not 45-point lead, that 45-point first quarter performance. And the way that they did it was, as you mentioned, Matthew, through team ball, right? Like Devin Booker had 11 points, but you had 6 from Royce O'Neal, 6 from Kevin Durant, 8 from Yusuf Nurkic, 5 from Grayson Allen, 7 from Bol Bol, and Saban Lee and dropped a couple points in there as well. And that's how you get to 45. And it's team ball that got them there. But the challenge that we've seen with regularity when it comes to this team is, unfortunately, they get out of that popping the ball around the perimeter, penetrate and pop. They go into some isolation ball, and what starts to happen is everybody around them gets out of rhythm, and it turns into one and dones on the offensive side of the ball. Now, granted, you can't blame that all on the Suns. You can sit there and say, hey, opposing coaches, they do a good job of game planning against what the Suns have done early on, and they've adjusted to what Phoenix is doing relative to team ball, and they're the ones who are taking the Suns out of the rhythm and forcing them into isolation basketball. But generally, the rule of thumb and what I've experienced watching this team this season is that's the challenge. Is they go, hey, cool, we got Royce O'Neal involved, we got Grayson Allen involved, but KD and Devin Booker have to get there, so we're going to go isolation heavy in an effort to try to get them involved and to get to do the heavy lifting. Where on certain nights, and that's okay, but on certain nights you have to continue what got you into the lead and what got you and what took advantage of the opposing defense. And tonight, that's what kind of happened, right? If you take a look at like the first quarter, team ball, the second and third quarter, where the Lakers kind of came back, we saw a little bit more isolation ball. And I'll talk about that a little bit when I talk about KD. And then the fourth quarter, as Michael Wilbon in the studio of ESPN was talking about how the Suns cough up so many leads, and how the ESPN broadcasting is talking about how the Suns are, and rightfully so, the worst team in the fourth quarter. They outscore the Lakers 28-23 in that fourth quarter. They outshoot them in the fourth as well. They shoot. They don't outshoot. They outshoot them from beyond the arc 40%. They were 4-10 from beyond the arc in the fourth quarter. I mean, that is absolutely paramount to success. So when you watch it and you're seeing and feeling the team ball aspect, and then you start to see some of that isolation, kind of what's your take on all of that?
It's very frustrating. Like you said, when you have guys like, especially Royce O'Neal, who can definitely fill in the void of Eric Gordon at an instant, right when he comes in or right when they start the game, you can just feel it defensively, offensively. he's like hitting on all cylinders. So you have that guy, and you have Grayson Allen and Nurkic, who all these guys are like connectors really on the offense. So you don't really want to see that stop. And it's kind of frustrating because we know we got KD and Book, and yeah, they can go off for sure, but you can just see how the game changes so drastically when they do bring the ball up and try to, get the mismatches, take it to the rim, force up difficult shots. It's cool. Like when it's going in, it looks good, but at times when it's missing and there's turnovers, especially leading to like LeBron dunks back to back,
Yeah,
basically, to get the crowd back into it, get the Lakers back into it. That's when it's like, all right, let's keep moving the ball. Because if you're gonna do that and you're gonna keep coughing the ball up, he's gonna get the crowd back into it. But also, like, I feel like the Lakers kind of just wait for LeBron to hit his threes. Like,
of
especially in the
course.
third quarter, it's like LeBron's just chucking up the threes. He gets a couple to go in, and then those dunks start to happen. But it's like they rely on that too much. You don't really have an Anthony Davis of the old at all. It's like a half of Anthony Davis out there, but then he was getting put back dunks. So it just kind of all like bleeds together. Like once the Suns move the ball around, and you have Royce cutting and Grayson Allen touching the ball, and then the Suns are scoring because of great shot selection, then it kind of feeds to the defense and the crowd, and everything just kind of comes together. So going off course a few times, I think they were kind of lucky they were playing the Lakers, a team that
Yes.
just, like I said, counts on LeBron's threes, and then Anthony Davis. I don't know what they get from him. Like we're lucky, and then especially D'Angelo Russell, who did get hot tonight, but he did shoot some threes that he probably shouldn't have shot and kept moving the ball. So I think we kind of lucked out in that aspect of not like going down to the wire at the end of this game.
I think that you hit on a couple things there, and it's something that, especially during the two losses that Phoenix experienced coming out of the All-Star break, is a drum that I am definitely beating. It's effort. Effort needs to occur on the glass, and effort needs to occur on defense. Because if that does happen, guess what? Great things happen offensively for a team that has showcased throughout the season that they are a great offensive team. Sans Bradley Beal, missing his 28th game tonight. No Eric Gordon, as you mentioned. It has all these makings of, oh, this could be dangerous. But if you put the effort in on defense, and if you put your effort in on the boards, you can generate extra possessions, and you can lead to easy offense. And we saw plenty of that tonight for the Phoenix Suns. And it kind of started with the big guy down low, man, Yusuf Nurkic.
Nurk. Definition make them boys go crazy.
Oh. So Yusuf Nurkic tonight, 18 points, 22 rebounds. I didn't even realize he had that many, man.
I know he had did he have 12 or 14 at the half? I didn't know he had 22 either.
Jeez, 18 and 22, 7 of the offensive variety, 7 of 12 overall from the field, 7 assists as well, a steal, a block, and came out right out of the gate playing physical against Anthony Davis. And I'll talk about it a little bit later as we navigate the subreddit stakeout for the Lakers. But a lot of fans on the Los Angeles side were stating that Davis wasn't ready for Nurkic to be that physical, because he came down and he just bodied him up right in the middle of his chest, pushed him back a couple times and laid it in. And that was where he kind of got off and running. And you look at the fact that he had his fourth first half double-double this season. He was better around the rim. That's something that was driving everybody crazy, right? He had, 3 or 4 misses at the rim against Dallas, and I think it was 3, and everybody was kind of losing their mind. And seeing Nurkic come out and go for 18 and 22, it allows, I don't know if it allows, but what it does, at least for us who kind of roam the cavern, the landscape that is Twitter, it's going to make all those 8 lovers go back to their troll caves for a while, because that was some of them were popping out and be like, well, Ayton could have made that layup. It's like, did you watch him for 5 years? No, he would have done the same thing. So what an amazing performance. What a physical performance over somebody in Anthony Davis who has done a good job against Nurk this season, right?
Yeah, I think the one that sticks out is just the preseason game, but I kind of feel like Nurk just has his way. So like I said before, Anthony Davis is not the same down low defensively at all. He's not the same player. So I think 2 things. Well, one thing for sure is the fouls, the personal fouls. The refs were letting these teams play. I think the Lakers, what they had like 4 or 8, 4 of 8 from the free throw line. The Suns were 18 of 19. but only 12 personal fouls for the Suns, then 14 for the Lakers. So it's very low. It's like in a game like this, I think Nurk can just really dominate, and he was early on, especially around the boards when those offensive putbacks. When AD at times, of course, he had those offensive putbacks, but when they let him go hard against AD, and then like when LeBron comes in the middle in the paint, and they're not calling fouls for LeBron, like that helps out. That's the type of game that Nurk can really do well in. And I just think that like you said, you saw early in the beginning where he was just bodying him, and they were letting him just do whatever he wanted with him. So I know Anthony Davis now is kind of frail in a way, but Nurk he needed this game because it's kind of been a while since we've had such a good Nurk game. This was an outstanding stat game, but like his impact early on the game just carried out through the whole game. And you kind of worry at times when Eubanks comes in to replace him, but I mean, when Nurk is back in the game, you just automatically see the difference in the offense and the defense tonight, especially, or today, especially. Are you on mute or no? I can't see if you are.
Yeah, I was. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't want to hear me burping over here. That'd be rude. His physicality today was something that we've seen numerous times throughout the season, but we haven't necessarily seen it against Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, as we've mentioned before, is one of those unique, you don't want to go as far as say unicorn, because I feel that that's a term that is utilized probably a little too easily by a lot of people in the NBA community. Anytime somebody has a certain skill, they're like, he's a unicorn, but he's definitely a unique player when it comes to his size and his athletic ability and how he kind of marries the two, right? I mean, this is a guy who, rightfully or not, ended up in the NBA top 75 players of all time, Anthony Davis. And due to that athleticism, Nurkic has had challenges with him, especially on the offensive end. If he goes and tries to make a layup, he got swatted, 5 times in a game against him earlier this season. I mean, it's definitely something that he has had a challenge with. But tonight, the strategy was, I'm going to body him, I'm going to attack him, and then I'm going to continue to attack the glass. As we mentioned, the 22 rebounds, 7 of those of the offensive variety, which allow the Suns to have numerous second chance opportunities, which is something that's kind of weird and interesting because it feels like it always happens to the Suns, not for the Suns, in which the second chance points battle goes in their favor. Second chance points tonight for the Suns, 22. Second chance points tonight or today for the Lakers, a total of 10. I've lost Matthew. For those of you who are watching, you'll see he's gone. If you're listening, you just think that Matthew's still next to me, but he's not. I don't know what happened. Maybe they kicked him out. Oh, man, that poor guy. But yeah, so the second chance points battle, the Suns outscored them by 12. And absolutely paramount to the success of this team is, if, like I said, effort. Effort leads to energy. Energy leads to quality possessions and or extra possessions and easy offense. And that is what the Suns had at their disposal tonight against the Lakers, is they had those second chance opportunities. You look at the overall rebounding battle, and the Suns smoked them. Absolutely smoked them. 51 rebounds for the Suns to 34 for the Lakers. That is a plus 17 for Phoenix. You look at overall offensive rebounds, 14 for the Suns, 3 for the Lakers. 3. I mean, I feel like we come on this show night after night and we have that conversation where it's like, Jesus, can we just stop the opposing team from getting an offensive rebound? Because it seems like every time we do, it results in a 3-point make for the opposition. And tonight it was the Suns who did that. They were the ones who were getting those extra possessions. They were the ones who were hitting their 3-pointers as a result. It's another thing that you don't normally see from Phoenix. We attempted more shots than the Lakers tonight. I feel like every game, because of turnovers, because we allow offensive rebounds, the opposition shoots more than Phoenix does. 93-90. 93-90. We outshot them by 3. It's great. You don't see that very often. But a great performance by Jusuf Nurkic. And then you have the other guys, right? I'll talk about Devin Booker. I'll talk about Bradley Beal. But you got to talk about Grayson Allen tonight, right?
Hi, Barbie.
Oh, hi, Alan.
Oh, Grayson Allen, our fuck shit up guy.
I was thinking about this because obviously we made the drop at the beginning of the season, and that's because we thought that Grayson Allen was going to be a fuck shit up guy because every team needs a fuck shit up guy. And what is that? What is an FSG, right? It's somebody who goes out and creates problems for the opposing team. Generally, we think of those problems in the context of physicality or annoyance, right? Like Pat Bev would be classified as an FSG, right? Because he goes out there and just tries to fuck shit up. Like that's his whole personality. Dylan Brooks, fake tough guy, right? But with Grayson Allen, what he is fucking up is everybody from beyond the arc. And tonight we saw it again with the way that he found himself open continually and was knocking down 3-point shots. Grayson Allen tonight ends with 24 points, which was more than Kevin Durant, which was more than Devin Booker, which was more than any member of the Phoenix Suns. A team high, 24 points, 6 of 12 from beyond the arc. So 50, a smooth 50% shooting, 8 of 17 overall from the field, only 2 rebounds, which sucks because I bet the over on his rebounds. The over was like 3.5, and I feel like he gets 4 ad nauseum. But no, just a couple rebounds tonight. 0 assists, no playmaking, a steal and a block. But what he was fucking up was the defensive rotations for the Lakers. They were having the hardest time getting on the perimeter and rotating around to him, and time after time, like Cyndi Lauper, time after time, he was just wide open and he knocked them down. And you have to be appreciative of the fact that he was doing that again, because we've had kind of a Grayson Allen drought a little bit where he's only attempting, what was it, like 2 or 3 from the field in the last game. Obviously with Gordon out, with Beal out, he's going to get more shot opportunities, but he also made those opportunities. And as Kenny says in the chat, Grayson timely threes. Yes, it seems like whenever they would get close, whenever they'd push a run, boom, there was a 3-point make by Grayson Allen. Shout out to Frank Vogel in the chat. Coach Frank Vogel is joining us. He's got $4.99 in the super chat. Said it always feels good to stick it to the organization that fired you. Go Suns. P.S. I love Suns Jam podcast. So thank you, head coach Frank Vogel, for watching here. I know that you probably just got done talking to the guys in the locker room, and now you're popping over here. Maybe just show them the pod. Let them know what we say. Let them know all of their funny nicknames. Maybe they'll not talk to me next time I go to and cover a game for brightsideofthesun.com. They're just like, oh, this guy, GOD3, beautiful Grayson, BEA, beautiful. Absolutely. And here's a fun one for you, Jamsters. I got something that, I was thinking about because they mentioned on the broadcast numerous times tonight, today, whatever, this day, that Grayson Allen is leading the league at 48.5% from 3-point land. And that means it's trivia time.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
Whoa, where are you?
Hey.
Did you get kicked out?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any service at all. Like I couldn't even get back on. I couldn't even text you, so I just left. So now I'm outside. It's nice out.
It's a gorgeous day outside.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking about Grayson Allen and the fact that he's shooting 48.5% from 3-point land. And it brought me to one of those trivia times where I want to stat people. And in honor of our great friend Dave King, let's stat some people.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
Who is the all-time leader in 3-point percentage in Phoenix Suns history in a season?
Is it Eddie House or Grayson Allen?
It is neither Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen currently at 48.5, which we know is going to jump today after shooting 50% from 3, 6 of 12. It is Grayson Allen is currently in second. So we have some guesses in the chat. We've got David Ray says Steve Nash. Kip says The Matrix. Crazy Luigi says Steve Nash. John Tran says Steve Nash. Suns Fever says Chapman. Quan says Marley. Luigi also says Chapman. I got another Nash. Drew Eubanks and the laughing emoji. Quentin Richardson from Seth Logan Hopkins. The answer is Craig Hodges in 87-88. He shot, yes, everyone remembers Craig Hodges. He shot 54.4% from beyond the arc. It equated to 31 of 57 on the season. So there you go, a little tidbit for you. You have officially been stacked.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
Let's talk about another one of the other guys. Obviously, Grayson Allen had a great game, but so did newcomer Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, bling bling bling. Rolls, Royce, Rolls, Royce, Rolls, Royce, yeah, nigga, Rolls, Royce.
Rolls-Royce, Royce O'Neal in this game, obviously stepping in with Eric Gordon being out. He's the first guy to come off of the bench. Not off the bench. I'm sorry. He started tonight. 37 minutes, 7 of 12 from the field, 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. So you have Grayson Allen go 6 of 12. You got him go 6 of 10. They combine for 12 of 22 from deep. He's got 20 points. He's got 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Royce O'Neal was everywhere tonight, Matthew. Today.
Yeah, it doesn't really show up in the stat sheet too much, but the way he's been doing this, where he can really, he can tell where the guy's shots are going to fall. He's doing this on the offensive end where he can read exactly if it's long or short, and he's tipping the ball back out for second chance opportunities. That is the biggest thing that I've seen from him. Like, he'll stand in a corner, doesn't get the shot, someone jacks something up, he'll run out towards the key, just make sure that we get a second chance. So he's been doing that a lot, and that's really impressive of him. But like I said earlier to start, like he of course is hot from three, but there's just something in him and his energy and stuff that it transitions to the other players, and where they can continue to play at like a high energy pace when he's on the floor. And it's like he doesn't mess up, doesn't make dumb plays, and he's just automatically a guy that you can rely on for the three, but also just cutting and then making the smart play around the rim. Defensively, if he has to, he can guard Anthony Davis. And I know I was giving him a hard time earlier in the podcast, but he had to guard him a few times around the rim, waiting for Nurk, waiting for guys to come help. So he does a little bit of everything, and I love that he got the opportunity to start tonight because he really saw it all.
Yeah, I think that him starting was obviously a wrinkle that the Suns' hand was forced into doing, but it definitely garnered positive results. He reminds me kind of a campaign personality type, not nearly as animated as campaign, obviously a complete different position. He's not a ball initiator, but he has an energy about him that his teammates feed off of. And obviously he's not as bipolar as campaign was either. Hey, look, chemtrails behind Matthew. It's the government, man. Fucking, let me tell you what. It's cloudy today because them chemtrails. Them chemtrails did. I'll tell you what. Anyways, so he has this transferability with his teammates that makes it tough for opposing teams to stop him from being effective. He feeds off of turnovers. He feeds off of the offensive rebounds. And like you said, constantly active. And I mentioned it either the last podcast or the podcast prior, the way that he has his head always up. He's very aware of what's going on at all times. So he's the one who's trying to jump passing lanes and things of that nature. His size, his ability to shoot the three ball, everything combined is make somebody who is like an ideal fit for Phoenix. And as we navigate these last 24 games, he's going to have to play a big part in those for a couple different reasons. One, the injury bug, right? Like, people are going to be injured. And if Royce O'Neal can step in and start, that's going to be absolutely huge for the Suns because he can guard a 1 through 5. As you mentioned, he can guard Anthony Davis, but he can guard the point of attack. He can guard a wing player in the perimeter. He can get physical on the interior. He really is kind of that Swiss Army knife player who's not great at anything, but really good at a lot of things. And having somebody, a second reason that he's going to be very vital moving down the stretch is having somebody who can just give you quality minutes. And we know that from the front end of the season, the challenge with the Suns is so many times guys would come off the bench and just be complete voids on the court, whereas he is not. And, you were saying he doesn't really stuff the stat sheet, or the stat sheet doesn't show it. Hell, 20 and 10 with 4 assists, 2 steals, and 6 made threes. That's stuff in the fucking stat sheet, in my personal and professional opinion.
Yeah, it's first game too, home, and it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
No, he played. He played.
Did he play?
The 2 games before the break. Detroit and Jamama.
That's that is
the Kings. That's correct.
Not really play. Okay. All right, got it. I'm on track now. I'm out of my element over here.
Well,
I look like a weirdo.
I will say a great question from Saul in the chat. Says Royce should continue to start over EG. Not a question, but I can turn that into a question. Should Royce O'Neal continue to start over Eric Gordon if Bradley Beal is out?
I think what you can do, and I think Eric Gordon should start because he's a better starter, but I think just having Royce O'Neal out there in clutch time minutes is better than Eric Gordon, because we saw the last few games where Eric Gordon kind of struggled out there. His IQ is just not as high when you need to grab the extra board, when you need to make that extra play to really get yourself and the team in position to win the game. Royce can do that. EG cannot, but I still like EG starting because he's been so good starting. It's one of those things where it's like these guys like come out, they have this huge game, which Royce did, and you just want to throw him in the starting lineup. Like Bol Bol will be pretty soon. It's going to be a thing. And then now it's Royce O'Neal. But I'm going to stick with Eric Gordon for now, I think. What do you think?
I agree. I think Eric Gordon's a great starter, and Royce O'Neal could be a finisher for you, because we've talked about what is the biggest challenge with Eric Gordon this season. And again, this is all contingent on whether or not Bradley Beal is playing or not. The Suns don't play again until Thursday, ladies and jamsters. They play Houston again for 2 games. Beal should be back by then. Like, it's a very different conversation. If he's not back by then, it's like, holy shit. But if that's the case, if we have no Beal, we've talked about the issue with Eric Gordon this season, where he, as a bench player, his splits are drastically worse. It's almost like he gets warmed up before the game, and then he has to go and sit down for 30 minutes of real time, and he just can't get it going after that, right? He's a little too old for that. So, like you said, have him come out, have him engage early, and be the offensive player that he has been as a starter. And then as the game progresses and you're getting down to those clutch time minutes where defensive possessions and rebounding become more valuable, you put in the person who can give you defensive intensity and somebody who can grab rebounds, and that is Royce O'Neal in this case. So I think that that's a good observation. It's a good question to have, and it's a good option to have in Royce O'Neal. Now, of course, another one of the other guys tonight who was highly productive, Bol Bol, motherfucker.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker. So Bol Bol tonight, 11 points. He had 4 rebounds, 5 of 9 shooting, had a total of 24 minutes played. All of his offensive production came in the first half. He was 5 of 6 from the field for those 11 points in the first half, ended 5 of 9. So he was 0 of 3 in the second half. But again, some amazing plays. 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. And that was his first shot made, was a 3-pointer. He had a nice take to the rim and a dunk that the crowd appeared to go crazy. Tell me about the Bol Bol effect live and in person from the footy tonight, Matthew.
You know, it's loud. It's not as loud as like those Lakers fans, but it's still loud. I think when Bol first started, coming off the bench for the Suns, it was almost eye piercing, ear piercing, for sure. With those fans going, no, it was. Now I think the fans, of course, when he makes a shot, they go absolutely ballistic. But it's kind of like he's a part of the team now, where he just kind of blends in. He's shown so much versatility in his game, especially tonight, where he has that shot going across the lane over Hachimura, where it just looks like a difficult shot, but it's, he's like 10 feet above the rim, like letting that go. So to know that he has that in his arsenal, it's nice. And the confidence he has now to actually pull it down from 3 and get to the rim, I love that part, because he settled for some threes tonight, maybe one that I didn't like. But other than that, like, he was getting to the rim, getting to different spots on the floor. And like he said, he had that one dunk where he kind of just he maneuvered around everybody else, all the Lakers defenders, and just got straight to the rim. So his confidence is very high, and I love how he played the high minutes tonight, because they got to continue to do it. Like, the DNPs have to stop with him. I think he just has to be a part of the Suns rotation no matter the matchups, because like I said before, like, he is pretty vital, I think, in what the Suns are going to do this year and getting to a championship. If he does not continue to perform at a higher level, I don't think they really have a chance, just due to the fact that we know we're going to face some injuries in the playoffs. So we need this to continue from Bol Bol.
And I like what Ozzy says in the chat. He says, Bol Bol effective on defense, not noticed as much. And for those of you who like to read, head over to brightsideofthesun.com. We actually had a piece published this morning, written by Stephen Pridgeon Gardner. Great writer, great analysis for the Bright Side writing crew that we have there. And he says, the title is "The Bol Bol Effect is Sustaining," and he's staking his claim in the main rotation. And to, kind of to echo Ozzy's points, it's because of the way that he's been playing defense. He has, with Kevin Durant on the court, their defensive rating is like in the 90s. I mean, it really has been amped up. You have Durant and him, plus Eubanks, and they're a plus 15.5 net rating. I mean, there's some really good advanced analytics relative to how great Bol Bol has been performing on that side of the floor. And we see it when somebody has to try to shoot over him. They have to put a little bit more arc on that shot because they see him coming at that 7'8" wingspan flying at you. And because of those closeouts, it's deterring the shots enough on the perimeter, which is unbelievably valuable, especially when you're playing teams that are trying to come back from a big deficit that they're going to shoot the three ball. And if you could make them uncomfortable doing so, that's a huge win. A plus 14 plus minus for Bol Bol in that first quarter. I mean, we mentioned the fact that they scored 45 points. It's because Bol Bol came out and really affected that game big time. That's what set the standard. It's almost like the Lakers relaxed a little bit when they saw Bol enter the game, and they're like, okay, maybe we can start to chip away at this. And then the Suns expanded the lead with him out there. So another great performance by Bol. He's starting to stack these one-on-one, and he's absolutely earned himself not only a spot in the rotation, but as we near the postseason, we're really going to start to have these conversations. It's, you're going to have probably a 9-man rotation in the postseason. Is one of those, you know that you're going to have your starting 5. It's Eric Gordon, Royce O'Neal, and then it's like Drew Eubanks, Bol Bol. I mean, like, there's going to be some really interesting conversations around that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I brought that up before, and I think everyone thought I was joking, but I really think that the starting lineup might contain Bol Bol at some time. I think that even tonight, like the way that Royce O'Neal and Bol Bol can come in and continue like the momentum, like I don't know. I know we just got done talking about Royce, but there was a play where like Bol Bol, like the first possession where Bol Bol came in, LeBron was, he had the ball, and it was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen here? Help defense came over, then Royce actually knows like how to read where the ball's gonna go, tips it out of bounds. So they don't get the turnover, but Lakers don't score the next possession. And then after that, like you can kind of see like how Bol Bol defensively, like you mentioned, like he's something of a menace at times. But I forget where I was gonna go with that because someone was yours. All right, just continue. Sorry, John.
What somebody like cut you off walking or something? You're, hey, I'm walking here. I'm fucking walking here.
I was walking and like car was coming, so never mind.
Wow, Matthew
got hit on live TV. Got kicked out of the game and get hit by a car.
Only here on the Suns Jam Session podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
22 points from Kevin Durant tonight on 7 of 20 shooting, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc. He had 7 assists, he had 5 rebounds, couple blocks, 3 turnovers. Not a sharp game again from Kevin Durant. And what we've noticed coming out of the All-Star break is we haven't seen a very sharp KD. He's had, and we've noted this before, and I will say this, I absolutely love watching Kevin Durant play basketball. I'm still amazed that he's on our team. But he makes some of the dumbest fucking turnovers. Like he had one early in the first quarter where he just threw it out of bounds. Like there's nobody there. And I don't know what he was doing. And then there's a few times where from an isolation standpoint, the Suns are flowing. They're popping the ball around, as we mentioned. Ball movement leads to offensive advantage because you are moving defenders into places that they don't want to be. And then KD just kind of slows it down, goes into ISO mode. And then when he gets stuck, he kicks it out to a Kogi, and Kogi doesn't want the ball. So, I mean, there's just some decision-making and a lack of sharpness coming out of the All-Star break that I wouldn't say I'm concerned, especially considering the Suns won tonight by 10 points over the Lakers. I'm not concerned, but it's something that I'm kind of keeping my eye on.
Yeah, me too. It's been 3 games. So I already know, like, when he comes back from injury, it takes him a while to get back into the groove of stuff, games. But right now, like, he's probably the worst player tonight. I mean, I love Kevin Durant, everything he brings to the Suns, number 35, he's 35 years old, all that good stuff. I just think that I just think that tonight he probably was the worst player, just because the ball movement kind of stopped with him at times. I think in the second quarter, when they're relying heavily on him and Booker's out of the game, I think that they need to rely more heavy on Grayson Allen. I think we brought that up last podcast where he needs to be more involved with KD to help out, especially with Beal being out, because the ball does stop with him too much. The tough shots is just when the team is playing like a team tonight, you don't really necessarily need those tough shots, but I don't know. I'm not too worried right now. I'll give it a couple more games to plug me back.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say necessarily like you have to rely on Grayson Allen. I think what you have to do is you have to rely on the guys that are around him and open, because that's what he brings, right? He brings a gravity to him that is going to force people being open. And the majority of the time, it is going to be somebody like a Grayson Allen, like a Royce O'Neal. And there just needs to be some cognitive understanding that, hey, in some games, there's going to be in certain situations where they are purely and utterly focusing on not allowing Kevin Durant to score. And you'll see it where he tries to force it. And I get it. He's one of the greatest players to ever play this game. So you can't fault him for trying to either shoot himself out of a slump or trying to make something happen for his team. That's what makes him one of the greatest. But there's also certain situations where you can sit and say, hey, you know what? The guys around me are cooking, right? Like when Kevin Durant earlier this season was having a good like 3 quarters and then they stopped feeding him. And then they tell him in the post-game presser that Jalen Brunson had 50 points. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's nice. It must be nice to get fed. You know, like he was cooking, so they kept feeding him. And everyone's like, oh, is that kind of a shot at the team? Yes and no with KD. So he needs to do the same thing, the same understanding that you need to go ahead and dish that ball out to those guys who are carrying your team and getting you to that point. Obviously, he makes some of those jumpers, and we don't have this conversation. But, I mean, he hasn't been as sharp, and that's just my one thing. I'm just keeping an eye on that. And then there's Devin Booker.
Big Dick Booker.
Devin Booker tonight had 21 points. Just so everybody knows, everybody who started tonight had 20 points except for Yusuf Nurkic, who had 18 points and 22 rebounds. I mean, the starting 5 carried their own. Devin Booker had 21 points on 8 of 18 shooting, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. He had 9 assists as well, so 21-9 for Book, 3 rebounds, 1 steal. A little bit better on the defensive end. Again, it's something that I definitely harped on in our last podcast about just kind of my frustration with the fact that Devin Booker is kind of olays some people, if you will, on defense. And it's something that I actually looked a little bit deeper into. And if you look at Basketball Index, right, a great place for advanced metrics, you take a look at this season. He's in the 16th percentile in passing lane defense, the 22nd percentile in deflections per 75 possessions, and 24th percentile in three-point contests per 75 possessions. You go back just one season ago where he was at 16%, he was at 58% last year in the percentile. Where he's at the 22nd percentile, he was in the 52nd percentile in deflections, and 32 percentile in three-point contests versus 24 this year. Those are hustle stats. Like that's why I chose those stats. Is those are stats that are hustling, right? You know, passing lane, deflections, contesting three-pointers. That's the challenge that I've seen with Devin Booker, because I know that some people kind of get a little flustered when I start to talk a little crap about Devin Booker, simply just point out my observations. That's what I saw. Tonight, again, he was much more in tune with, hey, other guys are playing well, I'm going to feed them. An issue we had in the game against the Rockets where he had 1 assist. He had 9 tonight. He was willingly passing. He was setting up his teammates, and they were knocking him down for him. I'd like to see that adjustment that we talked about in the last game.
Yeah, and I think that he's not like kind of like KD. He's not really in full form yet either. I think those All-Star weekends, I think, kind of just kill these players. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like Skeets on No Dunks that I listened to was talking about the team that wins should probably have more games off and maybe get these All-Stars like some more DNPs until they can kind of get their feet under themselves. But it doesn't seem like the same guy right now. But I think right now, like he said early in the game, he had like 6 assists like right off the bat. So getting other guys involved, knowing that he doesn't really feel like himself right now, it's very crucial. And other players feed off of that. So if he's not going to hog the ball and continue to like jack up pretty nasty shots, some difficult looking shots, then other guys know like they have a chance tonight or today to really put up some stats to get into their own groove and help this team win. So that's what he did. It's kind of hard to watch right now, honestly, but I think like KD, just get him a few more games.
Yeah, agreed. And that's where again the frustration is for the fan base is right now. Is if we're 2-1 coming out of the break, right? If we beat that Houston team, you're sitting there and you're going, okay, listen, the KD's not sharp right now. Booker's still kind of getting back in the groove post All-Star break, but at least we're 2-1. We're 1-2. And obviously a big win today. Massive win because you can't start out 0-3 knowing that you're chasing so many teams and you don't. I mean, we were talking just a week ago about how the Suns could potentially have a first round bye. Like we're just trying to get to the point where we're not in the play-in tournament. And that's the reality of what's occurring for the Phoenix Suns right now. So knowing that KD isn't sharp, knowing that Booker hasn't been his normal self outside of the 35-point performance against the Dallas Mavericks, you start to get into some cause and effect situations where you're sitting there and you're like, well, because of KD's lack of sharpness and Booker's lack of just overall freshness, if you will, they're losing. Now you're starting to see that there's some, especially in Booker's case, hey, if I don't have it shooting wise, I'm going to set up my teammates. 21 points, 9 assists. His teammates, he was passing out of double teams before they were coming, except for one time tonight. Again, something that I was definitely paying attention to. Saban Lee did something tonight, Matthew.
Mr. Lee,
you're cleared for takeoff.
Saban Lee got minutes again tonight. Only 9, but Matthew, he did it. He hit his first three-pointer of the season. I think he's 1 of 9 now on the season from beyond the arc. What did it look like in the arena? Because it looks funky on TV, man. It looks like a pass.
Yeah, no, it's funky. And then when they show the replay, it's even funkier. It's a crazy thing to look at. But thank God, dude, that the bench got up right away when he hit that one. They were sporting the hell out of him. So happy to see it, man. He got some pretty good minutes tonight, I feel like.
Yeah, they were positive. Again, he's a two-way contract player, and I'm not going to go into too far in depth into Saban Lee's performance because it doesn't matter come postseason. But he gave you some minutes and he hit a 3. I just thought I'd point it out here on the podcast. All right, let's talk about what happened in Los Angeles on their subreddit. The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. It's not nearly as dark in here because it's 5 in the afternoon here in Phoenix. But I was in LA, the city of angels. It was actually kind of a boring subreddit. Like, I'm not going to lie, Jamsters. I'm sorry. Like, I thought the Lakers fans would be a little bit more spicy, but you got to think of what happened in this game. The Suns boat raced them with 45 points in the first quarter. They were fighting to get back. So there was a lot of just them hating Darvin Ham, them saying Frank Vogel was better than Darvin Ham. Rotations were dumb. Not a lot of shit talking, but I'll go ahead and give you what you want. So let's just ignore Booker being a dirty bitch and hooking AD on that screen. And then everybody was frustrated at the fact that Yusuf Nurkic was going right at AD. And somebody goes, why is AD getting pushed by a 50-pound heavier guy than him? Is he stupid? Some of y'all never took a physics class, apparently. It's like, yeah, because they were like, well, why is he getting pushed around? It's like, because the dude's bigger than him. So I thought it was kind of a funny observation. KD, Bol Bol, Nurkic, unfair size. I always thought the Lakers were bigger.
You know, yeah, and the Suns are second in the league in length, and obviously has a lot to do with, or in height.
It's Bol Bol and KD, man.
Bol Bol. So
and then somebody from the Lakers subreddit said, why is Nurkic playing like prime Shaq? And then Richard Jefferson was on the pod or on the broadcast, and he was talking a lot about the sheer fact that Devin Booker was wearing the new Mirage 2s today, the new Book 1s, if you will. And somebody said, those shoes are ugly as fuck.
Those are my favorite ones.
I know. I like
because they're blue.
I like. Yeah,
Is there
I like
going
them.
here?
I like.
Those are my favorite ones.
If the swoosh was white, I'd love them. But I just like them.
It's a weird one to wear on the court. Like, I don't feel like it's a shoe that you would wear playing a game. I think that's one you go out to have pizza in or something. Nothing to play a basketball game in, though.
100%. So mad they got Rolls Royce, man. Fuck Bol Bol. Wow.
Wow, dude. Hey,
Bol Bol
they got
made it.
Dimwitty. Hey, they got
Yeah.
Dimwitty. Aren't they happy with that? He looks cool.
Fucking Spencer Dinshitty.
Yeah.
Devin Booker is a pussy. If Frank Vogel turns a team that's starting Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD, and a washed-up Nurkic into a league average defensive team, then he really is a top 5 coach. Devin Booker is a bitch, and Kendall Jenner has been fucked by half the league. That lady ref looks like Amy Schumer. That's why she's extra annoying.
Amy Schumer.
Yeah, the
Oh
comedian.
yeah. Did you see her lately though? Like she's really puffy. I mean, her face is like puffy. I guess she has some kind of infection. It's nothing to laugh about. I don't even know why I brought that up.
I'm just saying that they think she's annoying. Saul, no LBJ trash talk. No one in the Lakers subreddit was talking trash about LBJ. Every time he did anything, he's like, "Oh, hail the king." Fuck off. Fuck off, Grayson Allen, you bitch ass motherfucker. And then the last one on the subreddit stakeout. Grayson Allen looks like a teenager and a grandpa at the same time. The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. There you go.
It looks like when I'm walking around, it looks like I'm filming people with my phone out like this. Like, yeah,
is he just out there filming cars?
Yeah, I'm all behind a bush. Yeah, it sounds like I got to figure something out then, going to the games and stuff.
Yes.
That happened.
What with your reception?
Yeah, I just had to. I don't know. Maybe it was just my phone because I had to reboot and stuff. So maybe it was just that.
Probably your phone. All
right.
Thoughts on LeBron James tonight, Matthew? So LBJ, 28 points, 12 assists, 2 steals, 12 of 19 from the field, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. I don't know if you know this. He's 39 years old in his 21st season. What was it like witnessing the second greatest player of all time in person?
You know, if the Suns limited the turnovers to let him have those 2 breakaway dunks, it was just not a good game. It's just a weird Lakers team where, like I said earlier, they rely a lot on just him like coming up, trying to hit those threes to get the crowd into it, to get the team back into it. D'Angelo Russell, another guy that just kind of just shoots threes and that's it. So it's a weird looking team, man. I think if LeBron gets hot from 3, if he can get to the rim and get some fouls called, then yeah. But tonight he wasn't getting any fouls called, especially at the end of the game.
Yeah, he was bitching and moaning about that.
He was, and to me, I was like, yeah, that is kind of strange because we do this a lot with Devin Booker, where he'll have those same type of games where he'll get to the rim and nothing's called and he's on the floor. So I can see the frustration, and I thought it was kind of strange how he was getting calls. But I'm not going to say anything. I just did. But it was just kind of weird that we were kind of getting away with like 3 guys contesting a shot at the rim with no calls. Not saying we're fouling him, it's just usually there's calls there.
You're right, 100% right, that he normally gets those calls. The challenge is in those situations is like he creates the contact, right? It was like the Devin Booker foul that that LeBron James, quote unquote, committed, and then they reviewed it to see if it was a take foul and all that stuff. Where Devin Booker just ran into him. It's like that's not a foul on LeBron James. It's a foul. Anything. It's a no call because he created the contact. And it's the same thing in those situations where it's like you have guys down deep and like he jumps into these guys and tries to create contact to get to the line, and they don't call it, and then he just sits there and he does the just you visibly see him, or when like a teammate of his does a bad job on defense and he just kind of, you see from a body language standpoint, him just being not very happy with his teammates. So, LeBron James is LeBron James. I tip my hat to the amount of effort and way that he plays at such an advanced time in his career. Again, I grew up watching Jordan. I enjoyed watching Jordan. There's nobody better at downhill than LeBron James that I've ever seen. He starts getting going, like you cannot stop him. Period. Exclamation point. Like nobody. He's too powerful. Whereas Jordan was like majestic. He'd jump up through 3 guys and bank it in on the way down. It was just amazing. So, but nice to beat LeBron here in Phoenix. 2-3.
Nice. Yeah. It was nice to see him too. Like I didn't think I was gonna be able to see him, but I did. I got to walk next to him and smell him.
Tap him on the butt.
Yeah, he has like a guy with a camera following him around.
I
Like,
saw that.
nonstop. Yeah. That must be so weird, dude.
No, he wants it because he wants his own version of The Last Dance to tell everyone how great it is.
That's what it is.
It's LeBron always controlling the narrative.
So what's the thing like? So coming to the games, what's the thing with like the actual stars always come out after the regular team, the rest of the team comes out. Like they always do the hub, like, all right, let's go 1, 2, 3 break, let's go fucking win this. And then like it's either like him coming out late or else Cat will come out late. Like it's always like guys are just, I guess, I don't know, they don't want to be there with the team, they don't want the exposure. I don't know what it is.
Maybe they're just taking some extra time getting taped or something. I don't know.
Or
LeBron getting videotaped. Like he's got to, they got to get a picture of him, look at himself in the mirror, saying like, hey, I'm fucking LeBron.
Yeah,
man. Let's do this. He's like, knees weak, arms are heavy.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, sweater already, mom spaghetti.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, reminder: subscribe, rate, and review. Matthew, who you giving your Jam star of the game to?
I'm gonna give it to Nurk. The impressive stat line.
That is good.
All around a great team effort, but Nurk by far, I think.
This is one of the tough ones, right? I mean, like you said, great team effort. All starters scored in 20, or over 20 points, but he had 22 rebounds. It's really tough to. But I'm going to do a combo of Royce O'Neal / Grayson Allen with the way that they just were knocking him down. I thought it was absolutely fantastic to see them do that. So. Suns are off the next, 3 nights? They play on Thursday at home against the Houston Rockets. Hopefully an opportunity for some revenge. What are you looking for in that one, Matthew?
Some Bradley Beal. Let's see some Bradley Beal out there. I'm hoping he is back. Let's get it. Was it 23 games left? 24?
24.
24 games left. This is a good time for him to come back and get in the groove of things. So, I mean, the shoot around, he looked good too. Like, I think he's fine. I think it's one of those things where they try to extend it as far as they can with him because they know, like, they don't want to make anything worse, obviously. And they probably think that they could beat a Lakers team without him. But obviously, you should beat the Rockets without him. But I just want to see him on the floor with that team.
No, I'm with you, Hunter. That's what I'm looking forward to is a healthy Bradley Beal and trying to get him reacclimated again into the offense and seeing if Frank Vogel's like, well, he's going to be on a minutes restriction and we got to do all that shit again.
It's
the same shit. And just seeing what that looks and feels like. So Jamsters, make sure you join us live. Then if you get a chance, please head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us one of those very nicely written or not nicely written, but purely written 5-star reviews. We'll read it right here on the pod. If you're watching, thumbs up on the YouTube channel. If you get a chance, head over to phoenixfits.net. Use promo code SUNSJAM10 for the right to go ahead and purchase something and get a discount. Be pretty cool. phoenixfits.net, all with F's, no PH's. Matthew, you can stop filming people in the garage there and looking like a creep, and you can tell everyone what they can do.
Go home and love your family, everybody.
Yes. All right. Drive home safely, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you on Thursday.